And how did BALPA get formed?
One had had in mind for a long time, but there were many things that one would like to see changed and put right. But the main decision to really do something and form a British Airline Pilots Association came to me after an incident on one trip to Budapest during the winter of 1937. I was westbound out of Budapest, and on this occasion I was flying at between 9,000 and 10,000 feet above 10/10ths of cloud. After about an hour in the air, the cloud began to build up ahead of me, and although I climbed to something over 10,000 feet, I was unable to get above the thunderhead, and I did consider going round it, but this didn't seem to be sensible because it stretched for miles either way. So I was left no alternative but to go into it, which I did. And after a couple of minutes, the flying wires between the wings of the aeroplanes were taking ice, and the whole machine began to ice up very considerably. However, worse was yet to come, and very shortly after we lost the trailing aerial from the weight of ice which had formed on that. So we had only a fixed aerial to go on with the radio. In no time at all, the fixed aerial had parted. So we had no radio communication. And about that time, the port outer engine stopped due to ice in the carburetor intake. So I trimmed the aircraft out, and we started to lose height gently. Whatever I did to the airplane, with the load I was carrying on 3 motors, it wasn't maintaining altitude. And shortly after that, the starboard outer engine stopped, and we were making a gentle descent right over the middle of the Taunus Mountains, and literally had no place to go. After another, or what seemed like a long time, but in fact was a few minutes, both the other engines stopped, and we started to go down in earnest. And in fact I was sitting there in the cockpit waiting for the bump when one of the motors started to pick up. I had left the throttles about halfway open. Shortly after that, the one on the starboard side started again. And about that time I broke cloud, and I was roughly between 2 small ranges of mountains in a valley. Fortunately for us then, we'd come out of the icing conditions and were in warmer air, and the other engines picked up, and I was able to fly down this valley at a very low altitude, of course, to the ground, and sort of trim out the motors and get the thing going again. In the meantime, we had put out a spare trailing aerial by attaching pencil to one end of it and slipping it down the tube. And with this arrangement, the radio operator managed to get me some bearings from Nuremberg, which haven I subsequently reached with a great sigh of relief. However, this had in fact really crystallized my views on having to form a pilots association which could in fact make sure that this sort of thing didn't happen again.